claim the defendant got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 4-year-old son, Jace, leaving you in financial and emotional distress. You say today's DNA test will prove he is Jace's father, and you need him to step up and help you support your son. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson, you state you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father and have evidence to support your claim. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Wilson, I'll start with you. You say Mr. Johnson is doing nothing for Jace?
Nothing at all.
Explain.
I've had my son for 4 years doing it all by myself since day one. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
It's hard to look at him.
Take your time. I know it's difficult. You've had him by yourself. No help. He's 4.
I have been struggling as a single parent of 2 with Jace, even more. So been trying to work, go to school. I got a degree.
Amen.
Got a job, been working my job now for 5 years, but doing it by myself.
And when you look at your son and you think about those hard years, you ask yourself, why isn't the father here to help?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson, you say you know 100% you're not the biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you have not done anything to help Ms. Wilson raise Jace?
No, Your Honor.
So tell the court why you chose to do nothing.
Okay, first of all, when I got with Quidonna, she was dealing with her ex still, and he was still in the picture.
No, I wasn't.
So that's
I
a lie.
wasn't dealing with him.
Wait, hold on. I want to understand this. When you all met, how did you even meet?
I met his family in a grocery store, and we talked, just had a conversation, and they was like, well, you should meet my son, and you guys might, really hit it off. You're around the same age. Found out we was living across the street from each other.
And when you met Mr. Johnson, what was the exchange?
When I first seen him, it was like, I felt like it was love at first sight.
You did. So you saw him, and it just felt like you fell in love.
Yep.
And so now that you have Jace, and there's been no interaction and no help, that devastates you even more.
Yes.
So, Mr. Johnson, she said she thought you were the man of her dreams.
Yes, Your
Now
Honor.
you're doing nothing.
That's correct.
Tell the court why. Why did you take that position? You hit it off so well.
Why? Because, Your Honor, as I stated before, she was still involved with her ex. He was still in the picture. My son clearly looks like her ex. So at this point, I'm confused. I'm delirious. I don't even stay in this state no more. I was in Missouri. This is why I contracted my story from my calculations. I was not even there when he was conceived.
Yes, he was.
Impossible.
You're saying you weren't even there when the baby was conceived.
No, it was not. I was living in Missouri.
So you submitted a calendar to the court. I want to understand this. So, Mr. Johnson, explain this. You say on April 17th you moved away?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jace was born February 2nd.
Exactly.
So when you do your calculation and count back, she would have to have been pregnant for 10 plus months for this.
Correct, Your
For
Honor.
you to be the father.
Correct.
Ms. Wilson, do you remember Mr. Johnson moving away?
No.
He never moved away?
Mm-mm.
So when he's saying he was gone from April 17th until when Jace was born, that's not true?
No, it's not.
What is your testimony?
It's not at all, because we had sex on his birthday,
And when is that?
April 30th.
Impossible.
And we had sex every day after that. And the last day we had sex was May 10th.
How did we do that? And I was living in Missouri, though.
He was here. I wasn't dreaming.
No, that's incorrect, Your Honor. I was not here.
Could you have the date wrong, sir?
No, ma'am.
So you never remember him moving away ever?
Nope.
That's a lie.
So tell me what happened when you found out you were pregnant.
When I found out I was pregnant, I called him and told him that I was pregnant. Before then, we had been trying to have a baby. December of 2012, he spent Christmas with his other kids at my house. And during that time, when I finally moved into my apartment, which was March 1st of 2013, he came right after that in April. And he was there with me. We were doing it all the time because we planned on having a son. We was talking about getting married. I was like, well, I don't want to get married until we have the baby because I want to lose weight and fit in my dress. So I know for a fact that he was here.
Were you talking about getting married and planning this baby, Mr. Johnson?
No, ma'am. We sure weren't.
That's a lie.
No, Your Honor.
So you're a man of few words, but I'm going to need you to talk. Because I'm going to need you to testify as to what your recollection of this relationship is. Because you say you were out of town, but she has laid out a whole host of activities that you all were involved in during the months when you say you were gone.
I was absent. That's true, Your Honor. So I was not there. When she called me, I was in Missouri when she called me and told me she was pregnant.
So what happened when you told him you were pregnant? What do you remember him saying?
I don't even really recall what he was saying. I did kind of feel that he was happy about it.
Oh, you did? So what's
because I knew we was planning it. So this wasn't
So when
the
you
first
make the
time.
call, you think we did it.
That's a lie.
It's finally here because that was the day I was going back to get on birth control.
That's
Because I was
a lie.
off for a whole year.
And you say it's a lie, you weren't happy?
No, I was not, Your Honor. How can I be happy when it's not my child?
How can you deny it? And
And I wasn't even there when he was conceived. I was living in Missouri. I wish I had my check stubs with me. I could show you where I was at.
I wish you had them
I
too.
wish I did.
Because you ain't talking. I
I
wish
wish I
you
did.
had
but
some
he
proof
just
of something.
wish I
disappeared though.
did.
You just disappear. And I hadn't seen him no more after June 4th for 2 years.
So once you tell him you're pregnant, he never shows back up.
Nope.
So you go through all the doctor's appointments. This baby you planned
Baby shower, everything by myself.
doesn't show up at all until Jace is 2 years old?
Yes.
What happened, Mr. Johnson? You just didn't,
No.
you didn't want to see the baby?
No, Your Honor. I stopped communication with her because she told me she didn't want me to have nothing to do with her or her child.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
We got into it
That
over the
is a
phone.
lie. No.
And she told me on the
No.
phone,
No.
well, since this is not working, then you don't have to be in our life at all, like that, getting all loud with me. So I hung up on her. That's what I do. I'm not finna argue with you. The situation is what it is, and that's why we're here today. Because I'm here to clear my name.
So wait, the child is 4 years old. 4. You disappear for 2 years, even though you say you had a sexual relationship with her, but you left on a certain date. Although, Miss Wilson has several sexual encounters lined up, including your birthday, on into the next month, and she says you were still sexually active.
Must have been
but
my call.
even when I counted on that timeline, like that, let's really keep it real. Even if I counted on that timeline and you say, well, I was gone around that 10th month or so, as a person, as a man, wouldn't it be swirling in your mind like, well, what if the date for the doctor was off? What if something's off? What if it was my child? 2 years, you just ghost?
I had my life, she had hers. I moved.
No, but the baby had a life too. What happened the first time you saw Jace? You said you were gone for 2 years?
My mom was talking to me, and you know how some mothers are. They put pressure on sons like, well, son, he looks like you.
They tell you to do the right thing.
Pretty much.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Sean. So at this point, I'm going to meet her at the laundromat with the child. I took the child to my cousin's house so they could see him, and she was like, well, he does look like you, cuz, she's older. So, and as I proceed to take him back to the laundromat, I pulled up. I'm not even there 10 minutes. Here comes the ex. He pulls up, the little boy running to him, daddy, daddy. So I bail out.
And so now you think he's the biological father.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Did Jace run over to your ex and say, daddy, daddy, daddy?
He sure did, because that's who he known. That's who he has known. And her, my daughter, calling him daddy. So he figured, well, since my older sister do it, why should not?
So, Mr. Johnson, what else do you know? What else have you heard?
Actually, I'm glad you asked me that. She would go visit her ex 2 to 3 times a week, and spend long hours over there. But as she quote unquote says, we're burning DVDs. Now, if you're leaving our house at 12 o'clock, you come back at 8, come on now. Y'all burning more than DVDs.
So you
What house? Because you wasn't even with me.
you talking
wasn't
about
there, remember?
before she was pregnant? Because it doesn't.
Right, before she was pregnant, that's when she was going over there. So that's why I say, before I left, she was still dealing with this guy. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Why do you say that like you know that for sure?
Right.
Because I saw him together before. I caught up with him, all kind of stuff.
Oh, you did?
You caught us
Yes,
doing
ma'am.
what?
Yes, I did.
Well, I wish you would come to court and present your proof and your testimony. I'm waiting.
Because you caught us doing what? I
You caught her doing
cheating
what?
3 times.
I said I caught you with him.
Yeah.
How
I
did
caught
you
you
catch her?
They was riding in the car together, quote unquote family time or whatever she
stalking.
calls it.
That's what
whatever
that
she
was.
calls it.
But you felt like you saw them interacting in a romantic way?
No, I never caught them doing that, Your Honor. Never did.
I want to understand your doubt.
I didn't feel a connection. I didn't feel nothing. Even when I took him over to my family house. You're supposed to feel some kind of bond with your child. I have 4 of the kids that I take care of, Your Honor. And I got a bond with all of them. All my kids look like me, exactly like me. We have strong genes in our family, and I know for a fact that's not my son.
What's really going on here? It's something else going on. Because I don't know how you can be so nonchalant about an innocent boy. And your family says they think it's yours. And whether you do or you don't, believe it in your heart, the way that you have failed to show up consistently to even make this right, 4 years. Nobody could get a DNA test in 4 years.
And I never denied him one either. The day I had him, I called him and told him, you could get it done. All these years.
Look at him and tell him how let down you are.
I'm hurt that I'm even standing here and have to go through this with you. I was in love with you. I loved you. I still love you because you're my child's father at the end of the day.
Possibly.
But I can't believe I'm standing here doing this with you right now. After all that we've been through, after everything we've been through, when I had your back through all what you've been through. But me standing here, that's your son.
We'll find out.
I just want this to be over.
I do too.
This is hard to watch. It's hard to watch. Because it's like you all are oceans apart right now. Thank goodness this courtroom exists so we can get the answers we need. Because we got to move forward, people. We can't stay in this spot. Jerome, give me that envelope. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Wilson versus Johnson, when it comes to 4-year-old Jace Wilson, it has been determined by this court.
What's up, Pat? Can I say something, Your Honor?
As long as it's productive and positive.
Yes, ma'am. As I stand here today, I can apologize to you as a man. I apologize.